Welcome to an all-new Restoration Today podcast
brought to you by NextGear Solutions, now part of CoreLogic. NextGear is the preferred technology provider for the restoration industry and serves managed repair networks, franchisors, contractors, and insurance carriers looking to run a consistently smarter business. Manage your jobs from anywhere and communicate with customers in real time. Visit nextgearsolutions.com to learn how NextGear can help you transform your restoration business today. Hello there. Thanks for checking on another episode of the Restoration Today podcast. Today, we're talking about the experience with Larry Cooper because his spring show is coming up. It is right around the corner. It's a month from right now, right? We're going to be at your show like a month from right now. We're recording this on March 7th. So we're heading to Cincinnati. We're learning about cleaning and restoration and all the things at the experience. So Larry, thank you very much for joining me. So how long have you been doing this now?
Man, so this will be about 22 years, I think. It's a long time, obviously, but I've been involved in the education in the industry for much longer than that. I was president of IICUC back in 1984, 85, 86, and 87. And then several years later, we changed the name to IICRC. So definitely understand what's going on with education in this industry, but it's changed so much, and it's so nice to finally see there's some science behind what we're doing.
Yes. I think it's so important for people to understand that you are from the industry and that you get this. You know, there are a lot of people who do shows and it's like, we're just going to do a show, right? But you get it and you've lived in it and all of that. So what are some of your favorite memories from over the years? There are a lot of relationships that I know have been built at the experience. And that's where I got to know like Nick and some other of the greats in the industry, right? So share some of your favorite memories, I guess.
And that's really a hard question because there's so many great things that have happened over the years. But as you said, it's all about relationships.
Yeah.
And so, our spring show, we get 1,400 or 1,500 people, and the Vegas shows around 3,000, sometimes above, sometimes right below. And it's just getting to know all of the people there. And what's even more exciting is to see the growth of not just the attendees, but also all the speakers, all the experts that are coming in, how much they've grown over the years and how they've really started to apply science to our industry to teach the industry how to move and change. You know, for a while, I was teaching a lot around management and marketing, and really enjoyed that, how to write a business plan and all those kind of things. We brought those to the shows. And then you have some guys like Chuck Violand that show up that really know what the heck they're talking about. And I'm looking over going, let him do it. Really, that was fantastic. But nonetheless, it's really been a great venture. A lot of my great memories are in the trade show hall with all the craziness that goes on. One show, the first show we did the house in Las Vegas was really pretty unique. I decided we really needed to do something crazy. And so we built a 3-story house. And on the second floor, we built a bedroom with a bathroom with a toilet right near the stairs. And we put a wall right behind it, you know? And so I hired this stuntman to come in. And he sat down on the toilet reading his newspaper, and I dropped 1,000 gallons of water on him. And he got knocked off the toilet. The toilet fell over, and he rolled down the stairs, and we had put a swimming pool at the bottom so he would splash in the water. And it was hilarious, and he was great. And he jumped up and he's in his robe and I don't know what was underneath. It was kind of scary, but nonetheless, he ran across the living room out the front door and there's like 700 or 800 people there watching. And he screamed at them, "What are you all doing in my front yard?" And the place just, fell apart. It was so funny. But that was the opening of our flood houses. And we have probably built 18 to 20 flood houses, and that's quite a project. And that's really another amazing opportunity to meet people.
Yeah.
We have volunteers, about 20 of them, that come in every Las Vegas show and help us build a really big house. And what the idea is that we're going to flood the house before the show or during the show and teach people hands-on best practices in the industry for water damage removal and drying. And we got into remediation that way also, and that's been fun. But I also have to tell you that we did a few shows with entertainment that were just hilarious. One of them, Lee Zimmerman, who's always giving me a hard time. And he was president of IICRC, and it was his birthday. And so we brought him on stage. He thought he was getting an award.
Uh-oh.
And so he's talking at the microphone, talking to the audience. And I had Marilyn Monroe come up behind him and start rubbing her hands in his hair and saying happy birthday, Mr. President, to him. I've never seen anybody have redder cheeks in life. It was absolutely hilarious. I'll tell you one more. There was this guy named Dennis Iverson, and Dennis was out of San Diego, and he taught us so much about how to run trade shows. And he really helped us for years. Well, his pet peeve of the world was chicken dinners with little round potatoes and little round onions.
Yep.
And he just hated that. And so we're doing this big banquet dinner. There's about 1,800 people in the audience having dinner. And Dennis doesn't get dinner. And he's like, what's going on? And I'm sitting at the table with him. And so I signal the head waiter. And this procession of 12 waiters come out. And one of them has this silver platter. And he's walking all the way across the convention center. Well, everybody's starting to take notice, of what is going on here. And they weave their way all the way over to Dennis. And they set the platter down and open it up. And it's a raw whole chicken. I thought he was going to die. He was ready to kill me. The next guy had a hamburger. We sat down in front of him, and he was the happiest guy. But, having fun like that at shows really is what it's all about. And we put on some great entertainment. Last year's entertainment was just incredible with those lead singers from all of those 70s and 80s bands. And we want to have fun. Mm-hmm. We want people to be able to network. But what we want to do is raise the bar as high as we can on education and best practices for the industry. Yep. That's how we built the whole show. That's what's critically important to us.
I love all those stories. That's awesome. Okay. So, and a lot of that is so much the relationships, right? I know I see these little moments happen on the trade show floor too. And I can tell, so many people and so many people know others. And I actually remember you were talking about the flood house. I was talking to somebody last year who was newer to the industry and wanted to meet a lot of the people who are going to be at your show. And I remember him, I don't remember who it was, but I remember him saying to me, I'm going to volunteer to go help build the flood house because that's going to be the perfect way for me to get in before the show starts and talk to these people that I want to know and get, learn from them. And I'm like, gosh, you're thinking that's a really smart idea. So I love it. So what other you've been doing more hands-on stuff in the last few years. So what else do you have planned for the spring show for the hands-on area?
Well, thanks. And I did something that we have done many times in the past. On the second day of the show, Thursday on the 7th of April, the whole morning is dedicated to classroom hands-on education. Mm-hmm. We're not going to be using the normal PowerPoint presentation kind of presentations. We're going to change each one of those classrooms so that you're basically in a round and we're doing live demonstration, teaching different techniques and different ideas. And, that is so valuable, at least I believe it is, because that's how I learn. I mean, sitting in a classroom is great. I love hearing all of this new stuff. But when I get done, I'm trying to remember what I just heard. And I retain 10 to 15% of it, which isn't very good. But when I see it, mm-hmm. and I see it being used and applied, and maybe I go up and try it, all of a sudden I'm retaining about 80%, and I can go apply it to my business. Yes. And that's why we do so many hands-on. So give you an idea, we haven't had Xactimated our show in years.
I saw that they're on the agenda.
Xactimated our show. And so Xactimate's going to come in and talk about their management tool, and really how to write estimates and how to customize, how to do the job. And all that documentation is critically important, to say the least. And then Delmhurst will be on the program also. They're bringing in their new meters and teaching us how to use the meters, how to read the meters, what the readings mean, how to record them. I mean, those are just critical things for all of us to know. And then I have Carrie Mayu on the program talking about Bluetooth technology, how you can apply it, how it works, does it work? And then we also did something which I think is really unique. We have been doing a lot around remediation also. And we have a great relationship with Normie, Doug Hoffman. And I asked Doug to do something different, which we've never done, which is to take the classroom and set it up as if we're walking into a job and go through your decontamination chambers, set up critical barriers, set up fresh air makeup, the NAM, air scrubbers. How do they work? How do they set up? And then at the end, do an interim assessment and a post-remediation evaluation so people really get it. What is it that you're doing? How do you do it? What does it look like? Touch it, feel it, get involved, help them set it up. So I thought that was really unique, and we're really excited about it. So I didn't give him one session. I gave him 5 sessions.
Doug's going to be a busy man.
He's going to be a continuous flow. It's not going to be repeated. It's start the job. Here's what you do next. Here's what you do next, on and on. So I thought those were pretty darn unique opportunities for the restoration and remediation industry.
Yeah, that's really good. Okay, so let's talk about keynote. We have Jeff Jones, who is pretty well known, the forensic expert of the industry. And then you have Dr. George Buck, who's somewhat new to the industry. And so tell us a little bit about what they're going to be talking about and the importance of bringing that kind of to the forefront now, post-pandemic world, all of that.
When the pandemic hit 2 years ago, and I think it was this week, we were a little taken back that it's a reality that this could possibly happen.
Yep.
At our shows for 7 years, we talked about the possibility of what if there was a pandemic? What if there was some kind of bioterrorism? How would the world respond, and how would we as an industry respond? And we had great speakers come in, but it was fascinating to learn that only a couple of people in the whole industry really picked up on what that need is. And all of a sudden, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and who do they call on? The restoration and cleaning industry and remediation industry. And, my question still is, are we prepared? Are we trained? And my answer still is no and no. And so we wanted to concentrate on that again. And I started searching, and I got Jeff to help me. And we found Dr. George Buck, who's written 5 books on bioterrorism. And so we asked him to come in. He's going to talk about what in the world, the unpredictability of terrorism. And so what would happen if there was a bioterrorism attack in the US? Who would they call on? How would you respond? Can you protect your own people and yourself? Can you protect the occupants that are in the area? How do you clean it? What does that look like? And so we've asked Dr. Buck to walk through what bioterrorism is, number one, and then talk about, the opportunities for cleanup. What does that look like? What does the planning and the response and the recovery look like? And, what are the dangers of going into these situations also? And we don't want to just talk about bioterrorism, but we just came through a pandemic. Man, we sprayed a lot of stuff. Was it good to spray all that stuff? I don't think so. And so now we're seeing all the secondary damage coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And, the question is, what was the right way to handle it? And then we've asked Jeff Jones, who's really got his act together on this whole area. I mean, I don't know anybody else that understands the concepts and the training needed more than Jeff.
Yep.
We've asked him to come in and kind of lay a foundation of infectious agents and pathogenic threats. And he'll discuss, the overall scenarios, but how do you plan? How do you respond? What's recovery look like? And what are those dangers you're going to walk into? And so he's going to also talk about sanitizing, sterilization, inactivation of these pathogenic threats and what testing there is and what is a proven protocol when dealing with these hostile environments. And so this is kind of off the wall. There's no question about it. But I think it's critically important for our industry to be exposed to, to understand and prepare. And it's not just for the restoration and remediation industry. It's for the cleaning industry also, because they're being called on also to respond. And so I think this is a unique opportunity to hear from some experts that'll get maybe your thought patterns in line for how do I train my people and myself.
Yes. Okay. All right. So we've talked a lot about education. I want to talk about the fun stuff. So we kind of talked about the fun stuff at the beginning, but you were planning on a baseball game, and now thanks to some people who are unhappy with life, there's no baseball right now. So you've had to audible at the last minute here, but it sounds like you have some other exciting plans in store. So share a little bit about that and what you're planning instead.
Well, I should say something about baseball, but I'm going to leave it right there. We bought 500 tickets to the Cincinnati Reds game. I rented the restaurant in the stadium and had open bars and all this fun stuff planned. And of course, I don't know who to blame other than the millionaires that can't get along. And so, the bottom line is they canceled the first two series, and looks like they're going to extend even more cancellations because they have not gotten anywhere on their negotiations, which is sad because I love baseball. But having said that, we decided that what we would look for is something unique that would also be fun. And one of the most important things at our show is the ability to meet new people, to network and see old friends. And so we decided we would put on a great party over at the Hilton Netherlands. And we rented a room called the Hall of Mirrors. This room is fantastic. And so it's a room where Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye and Doris Day used to perform. And they haven't changed the room. They've kept it the same, and it's gorgeous. And so for all of you that have been supporting us with full registrations, we want to thank you. And many of you bought extra tickets to go to the ball game. So here's what we're going to do is you're going to receive some separate tickets for dinner in that room and open bar in that room. And that'll be available for you at registration. And so we'll get that taken care of. And then everybody else is invited to the party. There'll be hors d'oeuvres there and cash bars. And the bigger thing that we decided to do, I was going to hire this great band to come in. And I said, you know what? It's loud and I can't talk to a lot of people because I'm watching what's going on. It's loud.
Yep.
What if I took that same money and I invested it in a bunch of prizes to give away to people? I think they'd have a blast, right?
Yep.
So we're going to be giving away over $10,000 in prizes at that party. And so we're working on all the final details. But if you're a full paid registration, you're going to be able to enter into a drawing for each of those prizes. And we're just going to have some fun. We just wanted to make it a fun networking opportunity with some great food and some friends and just let you come enjoy yourself.
Perfect. That's going to be very fun. All right. So this is April 6th through 8th. It is in Cincinnati. The event itself is at the Duke Energy Convention Center. And then the host hotel is the Hilton that's nearby. And you also have some links to other hotels in case people decide to stay nearby, whatever. But perfect. And okay, anything else you want to add about the spring show? Then I want to touch on the fall show just to way tee it up ahead of time before we wrap it.
I will tell you that we have some classes after the show.
Okay.
On the Saturday. And one of them is a mold assessment technician. which is a certification with Normie.
Mm-hmm.
And you may want to register for that. It's a great class. I sat through a lot of it and really thought they did a great job. It's part of the overall licensing and opportunities like that. And then secondly, I asked Exactware to stay afterwards and teach a full day class for the restoration and remediation companies. And so basically what they're going to talk about is how do you use this program? Bring your computers there. They're going to load up software and you're going to be able to use it. And they're going to teach you best practices and little tricks on how to do estimates very quickly and be able to put floor plans and maps in. So take a look at those. Hopefully you'll come join us for those. And let's talk Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. I just wanted to tee it up a little bit because I know you're changing venues and some things are shifting. So I want to make sure that people have this on their radar as well. We're coming into spring show season, but then there's kind of a lull and then we get to go to Vegas. So where are you heading in the fall? What's the new venue?
Well, everybody knows where the Bellagio is.
Yes.
And right across the street from the fountains is Harrah's.
Yep.
And right behind Harrah's is the brand new Caesars Forum. And it is a brand new convention center, state of the art, the most beautiful place I've ever been in to hold a meeting. But they have these huge electronic walls. The whole space is just well thought out. And so we're moving our convention, all the classes into that space. Very excited to do it. The space is big enough that the trade show will be in the middle and the classes will wrap around it.
Wow.
And so we're doing live demonstrations, say with a rug cleaning plant or at the house. I can program the classes next to those areas so they can go into the trade show hall and do hands-on in those areas. So that's pretty cool. The space is really great. Harrah's just went through a $230 million remodel. The rooms are gorgeous, and we're very excited to move over. And again, we'll have 5 tracks of education. The house will probably be the biggest house we've ever built there because we have the space to do it. Mm-hmm. And again, you just talked about people volunteering and coming in. I have a great crew, but if you want to join us, call Jennifer and talk to her very early here at our office. We bring in 20 people. We take care of their hotel rooms. We feed them. They have a great time and they make some great friendships from being together for a couple of days. Yep. So that's always fun to do.
Perfect. Okay, Larry. Well, thank you. All right. So if people want to register for the spring event, they can go to experiencetheevents.com. You can click on the left-hand side. That's going to be for the spring show, April 6th through 8th in Cincinnati. You can also check out the Experience University in the middle with all of your online training and stuff that you did during the pandemic to kind of innovate and keep things going. And then the fall show is on the right. You can get into there. Larry, anything else we should add before we wrap it?
Hotel rooms in Cincinnati. There's a big event coming in next to us. So we booked a big block at the Hilton and it's filling up fast. If you go online and look at rates, they're about $260 for a night. We're at $179 at the Hilton. Book your rooms now because afterwards, I'm not going to have any additional rooms.
Okay. Perfect. All right, Larry. Well, I look forward to seeing you in just a month and it will be great fun. And I can't wait to see the Hall of Mirrors. And I hope you have an awesome rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Thanks for the great work you're doing for the industry.
Oh, thank you. It's so fun.
For more Restoration Today, visit our website, cnrmagazine.com, or find us wherever you get your favorite podcasts.